No, I've got coffee.
Do you want more?
You know what?
And Jessica, you can start it rolling.
I want to be an artist in Rome and be the best painter in the world.
That's what you want too, isn't it, Joe? To be a famous writer.
Yes, but it sounds so crass when she says it.
Joe and Amy's relationship is such a revelation in this movie. How did you approach that relationship? I mean, they're both young, ambitious girls that are looking for some power in the arts and in the economic side. How was that for you?
I mean, a lot of it was in the writing already. Like, there's so many lines that we have back and forth where we just sort of slam each other with an insult or pick each other up on one another's behaviour. I think Flo and I kind of have a similar energy as well in real life, as Joe and Amy do in the film. So I think it was also just really good casting as well. If we do say so ourselves. But yeah, I mean, what we've kind of discussed is that they really rile each other up in a way that nobody else does in the film, and I think it's because they're both so driven, and they kind of, I think, underneath it all have a lot of respect for the other one, because like Amy can challenge Joe in a way that nobody else can, and I think when she's younger, she's defensive of that.
Yeah.
So.
And also they both represent the opposite of what one another respects in women.
Yeah.
And that is what siblings is like. And I think I remember reading whenever we'd have our scenes coming up, being so excited that like in the script it would say Joe hits Amy, or like just their physicality. I remember being a bit like when you want to have an argument with your sister or your sibling. I was just very pumped to just play them as naturally as possible, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Timothée, what I really love about Laurie is that he really finds himself in this world of sisters. What do you think that brings into the vast universe of male characters, young male characters? I mean, you've played a lot of men who are trying to find themselves.
Well, I think Greta's fleshing out the character, and the way it's presented and the visceralness she gave these sisters would be the new take on it in some way, or how, like I said, 3D it is in some way. But the truth is, this is Louisa May Alcott's conception. You know, this is something she was thinking of 150 years ago, you know, on purpose or not. Probably, you know, who are we to say it? Probably on purpose, but to give the female protagonist a name like Joe and give the male counterpart a name like Laurie, you know, she was playing with these ideas and in a way that the definitions we would associate with it today weren't even around. And so I think it's Louisa May Alcott first, Greta second, and maybe me third in some way, as it relates to Laurie.
So would you like to dance with me?
I can't because I scorched my dress, and Meg told me to keep still so no one would see it.
I have an idea of how we can manage.
This movie, as Greta was saying, is also about ambition and not being afraid of it, so to speak. How do you relate to that concept as young actors?
We had another question earlier, and it was really interesting, and we were talking about support and the importance of support that we get from family and friends. And you know, this is not this movie, neither here nor there, but I saw a musical called The Color Purple a couple years ago, and I was thinking about that in relation to what we were talking about earlier, because the female protagonist in that doesn't really have the support that I think we as actual humans are fortunate to have. And that story, I don't know why I'm plugging that story, but you know, in a way that this is a female aspirational movie too, but that one, she gets to a place of solidity and a backbone, but without that support anyway. So I don't know what my point is, but that...
Yeah, ambition and support.
That fire, that relentlessness.
And also, even if you have been doing it for like years and years and years, if you're young, sometimes you can still be considered just, you know, a kid, even in the sort of profession that you're in, and it takes a long time really to get that respect where people will actually listen to you, you know. And it's, you know, actors have to be so sort of emotional and sensitive and sort of thick-skinned, but also let everything wash over them. But then the business side of our industry is the opposite to that, and you have got to sort of go in sometimes with your guard up to really protect yourself and your work. So you do have to, I think it takes a while to learn how to switch between the two, but I know one of the things that helps me is that the work is something that I will always protect, the work that I do, and that kind of gives me the ability to say no if I need to, so.
So Who does she marry?